Hello YouTube! We're on the Real Programming channel. I'm its host. My name is Andrei. I greet you. This is our 15th lesson. We are talking about HTML and PHP. We will talk about $_post provides the form data. Let's go. Okay, the good news is that the report.php script already has the form data stored away in the variable thanks to the $_post superglobal. Remember this PHP code. Don't forget, remember, you will find the code and materials of this lesson under this video in the description link to Google Drive. The $_post superglobals already being used to extract the data from each of Owen's form fields and store it in variables. Remember, the name you use for $_post needs to match up with the name of an HTML form field. So you already have the form data in hand. You just need to incorporate it into the alien abduction insert statement. But you need to make a small change first. Now that you no longer manage the form data, you don't need the $name variable. You do still need the first and last name of the user so that they can be added to the database, but you need the names in separate variables. The user's name is now stored in separate variables so that it can be inserted into distinct columns of the aliens and abduction table. I will show you the code firstly. Okay. Okay, write the PHP code exercise to create Owen's insert query string that is stored in the $query variable, making sure that is stored actually form data in the aliens abduction table upon being executed. And if you're ready for a solution, this is our solution. The column names appear in the SQL statement, exactly as they did before. Instead of static data about Sally Jones' abduction, now we insert whatever data the user entered into the form. The order of the variable must match the order of the column names for the data to get stored in the correct columns of the table. There are no dumb questions. Do I have to create all those variables to store the $_post data? Can't I just reference the $post data directly into the $query string? Yes, you can. There is nothing stopping you from putting $_post directly in a query. However, it's a good coding habit to isolate form data before doing anything with it. This is because it's fairly common to process form data to some degree before inserting it into a database. For example, there is a clever ways for hackers to try and hijack your queries by entering dangerous form data. You'll learn how to thwart such attempts in chapter 6 to keep things simple. This chapter doesn't do any processing on form data, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't go ahead and get in the habit of storing form data in your own variables first before sticking it in a query. Okay, so does it matter where you use single quotes versus double quotes? Can I use single quotes around the whole query and double quotes around each variable? Yes, it matters. And no, you can't use single quotes around the whole query with double quotes around the variables. The reason is because PHP treats strings differently depending on whether they appear inside single quotes or double quotes. The difference between the two is that single quotes represent exactly the text contained within them, while some additional processing takes place on the text within double quotes. This processing results in a variable inside of double quotes getting processed and its value placed in a string in a line of the variable name. This is quite handy and is why double quotes are generally preferred for building SQL query strings. Could you just build query string by concatenating the variables with the SQL code? Yes, and if you went the concatenation route, you could certainly use single quotes instead of double quotes. But query string tend to be messy as it is, so anything you can do to make them more readable is a good thing. Embedding variables directly in a double quote string instead of concatenating them with single quotes definitely makes query strings easier to understand. Exercise. Let's use everything. We're learning to finish own form heading PHP script so that it can successfully store alien abduction data in a database. Finish the PHP code below to complete the report.php script. Okay, let's look on our code. Okay, if you're ready for a solution, let's go. If not, take a pause. Okay, this is our solution. The new element. Variables hold the first last name of the user as entered into the form. You must connect to the database and provide the proper connection information before performing any SQL queries from PHP. The query is constructed as a PHP string, making sure to use data extracted from the form fields. Execute the query on the database, this insert the data. Close the database connection. Confirming the successful form submission just like you did in the old script. Let's look on test drive. Change own script to use actual form data when you do an insert. Remove the $name variable in the report.php script. Add the $first name and the $last name variables and modify the $query variable to use form variables instead of static text in the insert statement. Upload the new version of the script and then try it out by submitting the form in the report.html page a few times, making sure to enter differently data each time. Now, you use your MySqL tool to query out a select and view the content of the alien abduction table. The new alien abduction report appeared in the table just as you would expect. There is an extra row of data for Sally Jones. From before you fixed the insert query, don't worry, you learn how to remove unwanted data in the next chapter. Owen needs help sifting through his data. The new and improved report.php script is doing its job and automating the process of adding alien abduction reports to the database. Owen can just sit back and let the reports roll in, expect that there is a new problem. More data isn't exactly making it any easier to hone in on alien abduction reports involving a potential funk sighting. Owen needs a way to find specific data, such as alien abduction where a funk was spotted. You know what column of the database contains the information in the question funk spotted. This column contains either yes or no, depending on whether the abductee reported that they saw funk. So what you need is a way to select only the report in the alien abduction table that have a value of yes in the funk spotted column. You know that the following SQL query returns all of the data in the table. Select that multiplies from alien abduction. The SQL select statement lets you talk and close to control the date returned by the query is called where, and you'll tell is exactly how you want to filter the query results. In owns case, that means only selecting an abduction report where the fang spotted column equals yes. Remember, without the where clause, this causes all of the data in the table to be selected. The name of the column. The value the column must be set to in order for the data to be selected. This clause reduces the data returned by the query, yielding only the data where the fang spotted column is set to yes. This part of the select query stays the same. The where clause takes care of whittling down the results. Okay, test drive and owns on his way to finding fang. We'll talk about this in the next lesson. Is our lesson 15 about HTML, PHP and MySqL is over. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Please put like, share with friends, comment. Meditate, eat bananas, do exercise, drink more water for the brain. Thank you. Goodbye.